High school students wrap up their second day of shortened classes after the death of 14 students and 3 educators. A debate is raging now over how to keep them and every student in this country safe. The president says he thinks that some teachers should be armed. But the governor of Florida, where the attack took place, says no, that's not the answer. To talk about the idea of arming teachers, I want to bring in Roosevelt Mitchell. He's an educator and a liberal commentator as well. Roosevelt, good to see you. So you say no, teachers should definitely not be armed. The argument seems to be leaning in your favor more as I look on Twitter. Why do you say no, that that's not the answer?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And yes, that's absolutely not the answer. And here's the thing. If there was a mass shooting at the White House, you think someone would give President Trump a gun and say, here, President Trump, we'll give you a raise, a presidential bonus in order to protect you and your staff. No, they will beef up security and they will take precautionary measures. And I think that's what we need to do with our children, because educators, as an educator, we are there to nurture and to teach kids, right? And it's already a field, as you had on earlier with the West Virginia educator, we are already underpaid and overworked, right? So the second is a safety issue. I've worked in a district where some educators were allowed to carry mace. And at the elementary level, a third grader got a hold to the mace or stole the mace from the teacher and maced the entire class. Now, what if that was a firearm?
Yes.
Just a few weeks ago, here in St. Louis, a third grade student shot a gun with a school officer. He had the gun in his holster and shot it and discharged it in a gym full of people, right? Luckily, no one was hurt, but it's just a safety issue. And also, thirdly, we can just look at yesterday, the Georgia educator who fired the gun inside the school. Every teacher is not mentally fit in order to carry a firearm or, around kids. So I think the shootings will actually go up as opposed to going down if educators were armed.
And Roosevelt, the president is saying, look, let's arm about 10% of the teachers. We won't tell the students who's armed and who's not. In a perfect world, he says, if someone comes in to shoot, that the teacher would shoot that person first. That's not necessarily, though, what would happen. And the teachers are saying, most of the teachers that I see on Twitter are saying, look, arm me with so much more. There's now a hashtag about it, but don't arm me with a gun. I mean, think about the training they have to go through and the amount of money they're making thus far. They have to teach, and now you want to hand them a gun.
And not only that, I mean, as a black male educator, it's less than 2% of us nationwide, and just think of what goes on between African-American males and the police situation. I would hate that it would be an active shooter situation inside the school, and I draw my weapon and the police show up and they don't have a clue who was shooting and who wasn't. I mean, all of a sudden I go from being an educator hero to I'm possibly going to get shot, right?
Yeah.
And that's just reality.
There are so many things that could go wrong. And just the ideal, perfect situation I really don't see happening. Roosevelt Mitchell, thank you so much. We appreciate your take on this.
Thank you so much for having me.
The conversation continues on